Hello everyone, Adam here, and today I'll be explaining the story of Mega Man Legends 2 and giving my take on the game itself. Mega Man Legends 2 opens with a prologue that is only accessed when you wait a certain amount of time in the title menu. Professor Barrel Casket, better known as Gramps, is visiting his old friend Vermin von Blucher and is discussing a risky trip to the Forbidden Island in search of the Mother Lode. During a press conference, we see that Blucher is reporting on what he and Gramps found on the island 30 years ago. We also see the Bonds posing as reporters. Apparently they attempted to go straight, but fell into debt due to Tiesel's mismanagement of their department store and require additional funds to keep the store going. A reporter who looks like Gramps' lost daughter, Matilda, warns them about the island's treasure, to which Blucher believes houses ancient technology, but escapes on a Reaverbot before Gramps can talk to her further when he recognizes her. Mega Man and Roll, who are watching the conference on TV, see the woman, and Roll recognizes her as her mother as well. The two decide to head to Gramps to confirm this. On their way to the ship, Roll discusses with Mega Man how her faith to find her parents was nearly destroyed, but thanks to Mega Man she has hope that she'll see them once again someday. Data, in an attempt to make lunch, starts a fire on the Flutter, damaging most of the ship, and Mega Man of course has to pay for all the damages. The reporter who escaped earlier sees that Blucher has ignored her warnings and with her Reaverbot attempts to shoot some warning shots. However, it ends up damaging the engines and causing the ship to slowly descend towards the Forbidden Island. Roll and Mega Man witness this, but can't get close to rescue anyone due to the storm. Unable to find their way past the storm or onto the Forbidden Island, Roll decides to build a dropship that her father designed so Mega Man can land on the island. Heading to Kalasica and the island of Yoshionki, Roll and Mega Man encounter a strange man named Joel while searching for parts at the local junk shop. Turns out he's also working on a dropship, and Roll believes he has a connection with her parent. If only she knew. Upon entering his home, Mega Man and Roll are told by a little girl that Joel left to explore some ruins. Mega Man and Roll head to the ruins to locate Joel, with Roll only making halfway before having to turn back, this due to the increased level of Reaverbots. Mega Man locates Joel, who is fatally injured and passes out from the pain. Mega Man defeats the Master Reaverbot guarding the refractor, to which Joel is planning to use to power his own dropship, and brings Joel back to his house. It's here that we learn that Jo has amnesia and cannot help Roll about her questions regarding her parents, but allows Mega Man and Roll to use his dropship to get to the Forbidden Island. Mega Man reaches the Forbidden Island and finds out that there are people who are locked in igloo-like domes. These are actually diggers who were almost killed when trying to get to the island and exploring the ruins inside. They were saved by the reporter, whose name is Yuna, and she placed them in hibernation not only to protect them from the incredible code and deadly Reaverbots, but to prevent them from waking the actual hidden treasure on the island, an ancient being known as Sarah. Fighting through powerful Reaverbots, Mega Man reaches the center and indirectly frees Sarah and her servant Geese. Yuna, looking from a distance when talking to her servant Gaz, learns that Yuna serves someone called the Master, and that she must relinquish codes to her. Yuna refuses as there are still questions such as the possibility that this Master loved the Carbons more than the system they serve, all questions that will be answered later on in the game. Sarah and Geese saw Yuna leave and wonder why she did not give up the codes, with both Sarah and Geese deciding to lay low for now before entering the supple bottom, lying to everyone aboard about being ancient beings wishing to live in peace now that they are the only ones of their kind. Since Yuna fled with the activation code Sarah and Geese need, they plan to use Blucher's resources to locate the 4 keys to manually unlock the library that they're looking for and get to the Mother Lode, promising access to ancient technology as well as the ability to build refractors. All while the Bonds are spying on the conversation who plan to steal the keys along with their allies Glide and Claymore. Mega Man and Roll are recruited to the mission and head to Malden Island where the first key is located. It's in the local village that Tron attacks Mega Man, attempting to convince Mega Man that Roll doesn't care about him and is actually robbing him. This doesn't work and Mega Man defeats Tron, with Tron leaving upset and jealous of their relationship.
Each other can't be broken.
Look at him, talking with her like they don't have a care in the world. Made a fool of me again. You...
What is it, Mega Man?
Oh, nothing.
Mega Man heads into the first room and finds the first key. When inside, a mercenary named Bola attacks Mega Man, but Mega Man of course triumphs. Eventually, Mega Man reaches the key, but Bola got to it first. Even more bad luck ensues when he informs Mega Man that it was eaten by the Master Reaverbot, which happens to be a giant toad. Mega Man defeats the creature and returns to the subtler bottom. Mega Man is informed that the next key is located on Nino Island, but is under attack by pirates. Roll and Mega Man head to the island but are mistaken for pirates and shot down. Now stranded, Mega Man and Roll prepare for the pirate attack by Glide and his bird bots. Mega Man successfully defends the port while the people get the anti-air defenses up and running. With the pirates defeated, Mega Man is told that their base is on an opposite island and agrees to go and destroy the base. Mega Man heads to the base and finds twin boys alerting Mega Man that their sister has been kidnapped and is at the same base he intends to destroy. With their help, Mega Man is able to make it past the giant wall. It successfully destroys the base, rescuing the twin sisters and eliminating the possibility of a counterattack by the bird bots. With the base destroyed, Mega Man returns to the trading port. Unfortunately, Glide isn't done, who leads the bird bots, leading one last attack against Nino Island. The island does have a powerful weapon to defend themselves. Unfortunately, it's broken. Roll, being the genius that she is, attempts to fix the weapon while Mega Man holds up Glide, who is shooting missiles at the port. Roll fixes the weapon, which causes everyone on board of Glide's ship to lose their sanity and destroy the ship from the inside. With the pirates defeated, Mega Man is given access to the ruins below the city. After obtaining the second key, Mega Man is faced with another air pirate veteran, Claymore. After defeating him, Claymore retreats, only to reappear at the entrance for a second round. After defeating him again, Claymore's back is thrown out, but Bolo comes to his rescue, and the two leave Mega Man to keep the second key. Mega Man returns to the subtler bottom with the second key and is told the third key is found in a desert island called Salkadul Island, inside the city of Kimatora, where a giant gold statue is located. Mega Man makes it to the city only to find that the Bonds have taken it over. Mega Man is able to repel them with the help of the citizens, but at the entrance of the ruins, Mega Man sees Teasel, who is attempting to steal the gold statue. Depending on the player's performance, you can either destroy the statue in the fight or keep damage to a minimum, to which you can either pay the citizens to rebuild the statue, or you can just leave it alone and keep all the zenny for yourself. Teasel retreats, but leaves Tron and Bond to locate the third key, who are currently inside the ruins. While inside, Mega Man faces one of the biggest Reaverbots in his life. Forced to retreat, Mega Man finds Tron and Bond, who are looking for the key. The three decide to join forces to stop the flow of lava and cut off the Master Reaverbot's power source. With that, Mega Man is able to defeat the Master Reaverbot, but Bond and Tron beat him to the key. Mega Man is able to defeat both Tron and Bond before leaving with the key. Returning to the subtler bottom again, Mega Man is told that the final key is in Yoshanki. However, when reaching the island, we learn that the Bonds and Glide are about to launch a massive attack in order to get the fourth key. Bolo and Claymore decide to leave the entire raid, citing both Bonds and Glide's incompetence, but they just decide it's not worth the trouble. Mega Man and Roll are given access to a train repaired by Joe to launch an attack on the Bonds and defeat them. It's also here that we learn that Joe, real name Banner, is Roll's father, dropping a photo of him with Roll and her mother Matilda. It's unclear if Joe is faking amnesia or that he figured out Roll was his daughter from the photo. Joel does recall events that happened 10 years ago, referring to we instead of just him when regarding the Forbidden Island trip that resulted in Roll's mother disappearing. Basically, Roll's mother, Matilda, and Joel were exploring the island, but Matilda was fatally wounded. Yuna attempted to save Matilda's life like she did with the Diggers, attempted to use energy and parts along with nanomachines to revive her. However, it was too much for Roll's mother to deal with, and Yuna took control of her body until she made a full recovery. It's likely that Joel remembers all of this, but is trying to protect Roll from the truth, feeling guilty about his wife's fate, and probably feeling guilty himself. After defeating the Bonds and Glide, Mega Man is given permission to head into the ruins and locate the final key, which is guarded by another powerful Reaverbot, this one using a type of thick and toxic slime to both protect and attack with. Mega Man of course comes out on top and returns to the subtler bottom. It's here that we learn that Blucher never trusted Sarah and has had armed guards stationed at her doors when Mega Man recovered the 4th key. Unfortunately, Sarah learns that the keys are on board and attempts to destroy the ship and get her hands on the keys by using her servant Geese to infiltrate the ship's system. Thankfully, Yuna is here and she saves the ship by using her servant Gaz to infiltrate the ship's system and purge Geese from the system, thereby saving everyone on the ship. Yuna is annoyed that Sarah would destroy the remaining genetic sample of the Master, which Mega Man holds, and also that she plans to reactivate the carbon reionization program, which will kill all humans and restore the ancient humans to the planet. With the help of Gat, Geese is separated from the ship, but Mega Man heads on top to deal with Geese, who is fighting Gas right now and unfortunately loses. Mega Man defeats Geese in combat thanks to the help of the Bonds, but unfortunately during the battle the Bonds' ship was destroyed, so their fate is made unknown. But come on, they've been in worse situations. They're like Team Rocket, they always come back. After the fight, we see a flashback of Mega Man before he lost his memories, interacting with the Master. Turns out the Master is the last pure human and is over 3,000 years old. He fell in love with the Carbons because although they suffered with things the ancients never did, such as hunger, thirst, disease, and death, they were happy where he was unhappy living in luxury and in a stale environment known as Elysium. It's also here that we learn that the Carbons are creations of the ancients. The Master, who's the last original human, was protected by the Master System, which is how he lived for so long. After leaving Elysium for Terra, the place where we've been exploring since Mega Man Legends 1, to see the Carbons for the first time, the Master quickly learns that life without pain has no meaning. The Master accepts that his death is certain after being exposed to Terra's atmosphere, as his immune system is very weak after living in a sterile environment for so long. Realizing the Master System was a mistake before dying, the Master gives his genetic code to Mega Man and asks him to destroy the system to prevent the carbon reionization program from ever activating. This program was meant to activate after his death and kill all the Carbons, restoring ancient humans to the planet using the genetic code stored in Elysium. To ensure that Sarah couldn't get her hands on the code after the Master's death, Mega Man transferred all his memories into Data before fighting Sarah. Yuna restores Mega Man's ability to download his memories from Data, then explains she'll be ready to take him back to Elysium using a ship piloted by Gaz to either fulfill the Master's wish or activate the carbon realization program. Everyone puts their faith in Mega Man to make the choice, which seems pretty large. Having him decide the fate of millions is no small task, and the fact that everyone's okay with this just seems a bit strange. Mega Man heads to Elysium with Yuna's help to either destroy or activate the system. Mega Man fights his way through ancient Reaver bots to the library. When inside, he is given one final message by both Yuna and Gaz, stating that he can either activate the system or not, that it's his choice, but Gaz will be there to attempt to assist him in any way possible.
Nino will attempt to infiltrate Mother's logic circuits. There is no guarantee as to how effective such an action will be, but it should impair Mother's reaction time to some extent. This unit's powers are limited, but it shall assist you as much as possible.
The library is shielded against any and all transmissions. I won't be able to help you anymore. Good luck, Mega Man.
Mega Man is confronted by Sarah when inside the library, who's now wearing combat armor. She states that she could have activated the carbon reionization program at any time, but couldn't go beyond what the system commanded of her. Sarah opens up to Mega Man that she didn't understand why the Master wanted to destroy the system, and her jealousy of Mega Man's close relationship with the Master. She hopes by defeating Mega Man she will purge these emotions and prove that the Master loved her. During the battle, Gas aids Mega Man by attacking Sarah's logic circuits, reducing her reaction time. Sarah's body is destroyed, but takes on a second form and unleashes her full power against Mega Man, but is defeated once again. After losing, Sarah opens up again, stating that the more she followed the system, the more the Master looked on her with sadness, and finally realizes why the Master smiled at Mega Man and not her. My guess is that Mega Man and the Master held the same value for life, something meant to be cherished and not simply toyed with, unlike Sarah, who just followed commands blindly, even if it meant killing millions. Yuna then appears and asks Sarah to transfer her program to her own former body, and how Gats died to help Mega Man because of her. Yuna also informs that with Elysium now shut down that the old system is being activated, and without Sarah they won't be able to stop it. Sarah awakens in Yuna's body, and Yuna explains that the old system is being activated across ruins on Terra. If they don't do anything, the people who the Master loved will die. Sarah agrees, but also addresses without gas they can't get back to Terra. Mega Man reassures everyone that Roll will find a way to rescue them. In the epilogue, we see that Roll is doing exactly that, with the first attempt at a rocket exploding before it reaches the stratosphere. We see that Roll, Gramps, and Blucher are working with the Bonds in an attempt to build a ship that will save Mega Man. However, the Bonds also want that ancient technology that's up there. Unfortunately, Roll and Tron, who are building a rocket, can't agree on anything, with Roll attempting to build a ship beyond what they can afford, and Tron making more frugal decisions, but at greater risk of system failure. The game concludes with Data addressing that Mega Man may be stuck in Elysium for a while. And that's the end of Mega Man Legends 2. I really enjoyed this game because not only did it dive deeper into each of these individual characters, but it also expanded on the gameplay, providing a much more elaborate lock-on system that was very welcoming compared to the Legends 1 lock-on system. It also offered a diverse array of locations, including deserts, snowy areas, and underwater locations. Optional tasks were plentiful, but most importantly, it expanded on the overall lore, answering questions left behind by Legends 1, including the Master and all the things that Juno said at the end of Mega Man Legends 1. We also got to learn more about the characters, including Roll's background, Mega Man's past, and even minor details such as Tron's relationship with Mega Man and how she truly feels. There was hope that a Mega Man Legends 3 would happen in 2010 for the 3DS, but it was cancelled in 2011, citing that it was a lack of fan involvement, which was complete nonsense, as when the game was announced, there was nothing but applause for it. Perhaps Capcom will invest in a sequel, as they've stated Capcom is back, and has been showing that they are doubling down on existing franchises, as we've seen with Monster Hunter World, Resident Evil 2 2019, and Devil May Cry 5 that saw both critical and commercial success. So it's entirely possible that they could invest in a Mega Man Legends 3 if the financial incentive is there. So there's my story explained for Mega Man Legends 2. You can watch my video on Mega Man Legends 1 in the description below, including my walkthrough for both games. Also tell me what game you would like me to explain next in the comments below. Till next time everyone, stay awesome.